so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the sea shore innumerable.
That's talking about his seed, basically, Abraham's seed, man. Which Israel, we're scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whereas it's the sand of the sea. Go ahead.
Verse 13, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off.
That's right, go ahead.
And were persuaded of them, and they embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
Go ahead.
Verse 14, for they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
What is the point? Where is it talking about sacrifice? Well, basically, the point I want to make, because I'm going to give it up to another speaker, the whole reason why the Most High had Abraham get up and sojourn to another land that he didn't know, because he wanted him to sacrifice his son Isaac.
I was 17.
He's 17?
Yeah, kind of.
Keep going.
Verse 17, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son.
That's right. So the Most High commanded Abraham to give up his only begotten son, which that's spiritual too.
Oh,
so if you receive it, who is Isaac? That's Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
Verse 18, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
That's right. Because people always want to talk about too, Abraham, basically just because you're a child of Abraham, that somehow we're all under the covenant, basically. But it says in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So it's within that specific line, within Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then on his 12 sons. Go ahead. That's who the promise went to.
Verse 19, accounting that Yahweh was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure.
Yep.
Verse 20, by faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come.
The point I wanted to get though was just when basically Abraham was given the commandment by the Most High to sacrifice his son Isaac, he was about to do it. But right when he was about to do it, basically the Most High stepped in and was like, nah. So basically the point is, sometimes the Most High, he'll have you do something just as a test of faith, just to see if you're gonna do it, and then right when he know that you're gonna do it, he'll basically save you, or he'll redeem your way. Basically, he didn't allow Abraham to go through with sacrificing his son. Just like in Egypt, man. Like our people that had the faith to go out into the wilderness, man. It was food. He brought water out of rocks. And the point that I wanted to make in modern day times, when we gonna be faced with the chip, man, it could be a situation to right when we're at that guillotine and we be like, nah, we ain't gonna take the chip. The Most High could just intervene right there. Because he just wants to see if you were just gonna pass the test. Just nigga, was you gonna do what I told you to do? So with that, man, I'm gonna let another brother speak, man. We need to pray for faith, man. Because that's gonna basically control whether you're gonna be in this thing until the end or not. Okay.
Yeah, what well, first, I said, Barak to Yahweh, Barak to Yahweh Shai. The brother went in beautifully, going into faith and, being tried of faith. And there was a spirit, the brother went into examples of the accounts that happened in Egypt. It was a lot of stuff that was going on back then that really tried us in the faith back then. And we know how history repeats itself, especially when you go according to the scriptures. Like when you go to Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, that's not what I want you to go to. But, he always makes stuff happen continually, repetitiously, so we can actually get it. That being the case, would you be able to pull up Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, start at the top? And would you be able to get Galatians, the 6th chapter, the 9th verse? Because what I'm gonna do, through the Spirit, I'm gonna give an account of what went down with us back then and how our people didn't have faith. That's why the first generation had to die off, and it was up to the younger generation. You can think of it spiritually right now as well. A lot of our mothers and fathers ain't in the truth, man. Especially when you first get into this thing and you want to tell them about it, they don't want to hear what it's talking about, man. Like the brother went into, man, they lacked faith. They lack faith right now. And that's more spiritual than what people think. That's why it takes the younger generation to come out here and do this thing. Because the Lord looks for the younger cats to do it, man. But go ahead, brother, start from the top.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live.
So what Moses is doing, this is before they had crossed over the Jordan River, the Jordan to get into the land that was promised to him. So what he was doing, he was giving them a speech, letting them know, giving them a rundown of what they went down in history, and he's giving them a rundown on everything else so they can keep their laws and carry it on to the next land. Like when you go to that name, Deuteronomy, it actually means words spoken. So he's speaking to them verbally of the accounts of everything that went down, all right? And stuff that's gonna happen later on.
And multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord swore unto your fathers.
Like the promise that the brother was going into beautifully with Abraham. Sands of the sea, being multiplied as the stars in the sky. All right, that was a continuation of that promise that was given unto Abraham. And it still applies to the day. We're just going through the curses. And later on in this chapter, it talks about that as well.
And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 14 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee.
So it said these 40 years in the wilderness, he had did that to humble us. It was the humbling process to keep us low. Just to see. Matter of fact, it's gonna get into it. Here, you can restart that last part you just read.
And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 14 years in the wilderness.
That's stuff that we were supposed to remember. But now you think now in time, you look at Jake, man, they don't remember it, man. They don't want to think about it at all, period, man. They want to trust in the shadow of Egypt like the brother was talking about. And that's why we're put in the situation that we're in right now. But with us being men of the Lord, and we do have that remembrance, we're in that humbling process like back then. Okay? Go ahead, brother Slide.
To humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart.
To humble thee and to prove thee. To try you like gold is tried in the fire. To put you through that furnace. To see what you was gonna do. To see what you was gonna think of. To see what you was gonna meditate on. Are you gonna keep the laws? Or are you not gonna keep the laws? Are you gonna worship the Most High? Or are you gonna worship these other gods? It was that trying process. And a lot of niggas died through that process, man. That's why we're not supposed to be wary in this thing, man. Because we're gonna run across a lot of situations where you're gonna be like, damn. Ultimately, that's a demon. But that's why the scriptures talk about pray without ceasing. And not to be wary in this thing. Because the Lord will put you in a situation to see if you really about it, to humble you.
He will put you in a situation when that chip comes.
And when that chip comes, that's beautiful, man. Go ahead, brother. See.
Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
So that's like right now to the day, man, like the brother brought out, man. When his chip come, he's really gonna see who's really about his business, man. He's really gonna see who's really down for the cause, man. When that chip comes, he's gonna what? Read that. What did it say that last part again?
Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
Are we gonna still stay in the faith? Because it's coming very, very, very soon. And that's ultimately why so many Jakes waking up right now, man. Got multiple brothers out here listening right now, man. A year ago, it wasn't this many. It wasn't this many, man. So that's how you know that we gotta buckle down, because we know the day of destruction is at hand, man. And we gotta stay pushing.
And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with the manna which thou knewest not.
That's right. He humbled thee. He fed you with manna which you know it's not. Because when the Lord gave us that manna, we was happy about it at a point in time. And afterward, man, we started complaining again. He fed us that manna to humble us, man. We didn't need the luxury foods, man. All we needed to do was eat, man. That's all he was thinking about. But also he was doing that to try to see what we was gonna do. And what did Israel do, man? What did Jake do? Forsake him? Oh Lord, no, we need some meat now, man. We need some meat. Go ahead.
Neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only.
Yeah, that man not live by bread only. Like Yahweh even said the same thing, man. Because again, you gotta think about, equate it to this time, man. We are gonna be hungry. We're gonna be thirsty, man. But like the brother Yadaka brought out, we gotta trust in the Lord, man. Yeah. We gotta trust in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. There's gonna be times that we are gonna be in that situation, man. And it's coming, man. It's coming soon. Will you keep his ways? Will you not keep his ways? Man won't live off bread alone, but what?
But by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live.
That's right. And what's that, man? That's these scriptures. That's why it's called the whole roll. That's why when he talked to Ezekiel and when he talked to John the Revelator, he said, eat this roll, man. That's this roll right here, man. This will tell you what you need to do. This will also help you keep your faith, man, when you are weary. All right, go ahead and jump to Galatians 6 and 9 really quick, and then we're going to get back to that one. Yeah, come. Yeah, man, go ahead.
If I could just say, you could always go back to Abraham and Isaac. Most High gave Abraham a commandment, to kill his son. Now, if I was Abraham, I'd be grieved to do it, but it was a trial he had to go through.
That's right, brother. That's right, man. Go ahead.
Galatians 6 and 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing.
Let us not be weary in well-doing. Them traveling in the wilderness back then, that was a well-doing. Why? Because they were going to get to the land that was promised to them, man. It was stuff that they were going to have to handle, situations they were going to have to be put in, man. But ultimately, it was the well-doing, man, to keep us right, to put us in a place that was more beneficial to us, all right? And that's like now, man, this is the well-doing, man. We out here, what's the word I'm looking for? We're out here pretty much confessing the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and through the Spirit, waking other Jakes up so they can get back into the fold, man. So we ain't supposed to be weary in this well-doing. We ain't supposed to be tired of this, man. We're supposed to keep on going, all right?
For in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
In due season, we shall reap. And what's to reap? To gather. You're gonna gather the fruits of your labors, okay? Go like the scriptures talk about, man. And what are we gonna reap, man? That's the kingdom. Everlasting life. UFOs, chariots, chariots, women. All good things like the scriptures talk about, man. That's stuff that we're gonna reap. That's why we shouldn't faint, man, because you can't equate 10 seconds to eternity, man. It's gonna be like a blink when we in the kingdom. It's gonna feel like a nightmare that we waking up from, man. That's right, brother. Go ahead.
As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men.
As we have the opportunity, man. We had the opportunity back then, man, and we stunk up the field. So as he's given us this opportunity, we're under grace right now. He's giving us a time to actually get right, man. He's giving us a time, and I'm talking to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans about this, because you are the children of Israel, okay? He's giving us his time, man. Take advantage of it, man, while it's here. Or don't.
Especially unto them who are of the household of faith.
Especially unto them who are of the household of faith, man, and that's the elect. The household of faith, the ones who actually truly believe, man. Not through lip service, but through your works. Okay, that's good, brother. Yeah, keep on going on that one.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 4. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years.
He said, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years, or your raiment wax old, man. He kept us in a good situation. Shoes ain't mess up, knees ain't go bad, our backs didn't go out, and none of that stuff, man.
We had no Nikes in the wilderness. We had sandals, bro.
Yeah, we're rocking penny phone posits and this
Wasn't no Sperry's and shit.
Oh, man.
Sandals, we kept them,
He said, neither did our feet swell, man. You try to think about it, man. You work labor at your job. You work at a warehouse, man. Your feet hurt all the dang time, man, and that's for 8 hours straight. Yeah. Got Jake doing bad, man. Man, bro, hurting. I bet he ain't do that 40 years. We was in the wilderness for 40 years going through that mess, man, and he still ain't making not one bunion, bro. Not one corn. Not one blister, man. He kept us upright, man. That's how we gotta be in this thing, upright. They ain't weary. He put the spirit on them physically, not to be weary physically. But what happened, man? They got weary mentally, man. They lost it. They ain't even consider the fact that the Most High put them in a situation where their bodies didn't mess up, man. For 40 years. Moses was 120 years old when he died, and he still had the strength of a young man. Something to consider, man. Go ahead.
Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so the Lord thy God chasteneth thee.
So now we got to consider in our minds, man. As the Most High as a man chasteneth his son, he's going to do the same thing to us, man. That's why we ain't supposed to be weary in this thing, man. You're going to catch hell. You're going to go through things, man. You're going to lose your woman probably, especially when hell break loose. You might lose your job, man. You might have a few of your coworkers come up to you. Oh, man, I saw you on the internet, man. Tell everybody at work, and to the point where your job trying to fire you, man, trying to pull slick moves on you to get you out of there, man. It's multiple situations that you're going to have to go in, man. But that's the chastening, that's the trying process. And like we read earlier in this chapter, it's not meant for our shame, but it's meant to humble us, man. To keep us lowly so we don't have a blown up mind, man. So we don't think we that nigga. So we don't think, oh yeah, I got it, man. No, and as soon as you think you got it, man, the Lord will bring you down even more, man. Go ahead.
Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy power, to walk in his ways and to fear him.
To walk in his ways and to fear him, man. Because ultimately, when your father humbled you when you was a child, when he whooped your tail when you was a child, man, it's to put fear in you, man. To know that that's your daddy and he brought life to you, man. That's how it is with the Most High, man. You know?
Yeah, like it says in Proverbs, father that removeth the rod from his son hated his son.
That's right,
So,
man.
you know, the Most High is not chasing you, you know, probably not dealing with you at a certain level.
God, that's in the scriptures too. Like when you go to Hebrews, the 12th chapter, man. When he chastises you, it's for your benefit. When he don't chastise you, that's when you got to think about it. That's when you got to be like, oh snap. That's when you got to really get scared. Think of it like this. We always bring up examples like this in brothers like sports. Let's say you're on a basketball team or you're on a football team or whatever sport that you play. If you playing and coach get on your tail, man, you know that he's doing it for your benefit. But if you mess up and coach like it's all good, just get on the bench. You're like, shit, I'm a piece of shit, I suck. I'm whack.
Yep.
That's how it is with the Most High, man. So better be thankful when he chastises you, man. It's for us, man. And he still did it to our wicked forefathers back then, man. And they still couldn't get right. He's giving us another chance to do this thing. He's giving us multiple chances now, but now it's the last time. Hell is finna break loose, man. Right. He's finna lay the smack down on your candy ass, man.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
For the Lord thy power bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains, and depths that spring out of valleys and hills.
Like we read in Galatians, the 6th chapter, man. We got something good coming to us, man. Land flowing with milk and honey.